Good evening. Welcome to the presentation for WIOA services in partnership with Kankakee United. Again, I'm Lynn Williams and I'm the city lead for Kankakee United, and I'm so happy to have you all here tonight. I would like to inform you more about Kankakee United. Please check out the city's webpage and check under Mayor's Initiative, and then look up Kankakee United. You'll see the newest and latest updates, presentations, activities, and you can meet the leadership team there. So we are looking for donations and sponsorships for future events, and we would love to have you all be a part. So a couple of upcoming events I would like to remind you of is our virtual expungement fair in the month of March. The dates are March 22nd through March 26th. We will be in partnership again with Prairie State Legal Services to begin the expungement process for members of the community of Kankakee. We also have coming up in April our Youth Violence Prevention Week, April 12th through the 16th. So if any organizations want to be a part of planning programming for Youth Violence Prevention Week, please contact us via our website, Kankakee United, on the City of Kankakee page under Mayor's Initiatives. So I would also like to display our new swag since we haven't seen you all in a while due to COVID. We have some giveaways tonight. We have our Kankakee United t-shirts. We also have Kankakee United Journal, as well as our Kankakee United leather padfolio. We're going to have a survey at the end of the presentation, and we'll be able to give these away as prizes. So please make sure your phones are on silent. This is a live presentation. We will also allow time for a Q&A. Now, without further ado, I'm going to introduce Courtney Ball. She was born and raised in Kankakee. She graduated from Kankakee High School in 1997. After graduating high school, she attended Kankakee Community College. While at KCC, she was a member of the cheer team and worked in the college's bookstore. After completing her general education requirements, Christy transferred to Eastern Illinois University in Charleston, Illinois, where she earned her bachelor's in psychology in 2004. Christy also attended Northern Illinois University from 2009 to 2011, where she studied adult and higher education counseling. While at NIU, Christy worked as a graduate assistant in the off-campus and non-traditional student services department. While there, she also completed an internship in independent study in the College of Education's Teaching and Learning Department. She was inducted into Pi Lambda Theta and was named one of the 2011's Who's Who Among American Colleges and Universities. In addition, she also served on several committees at the university, including the Women's Resource Center Internal Review Committee, Counseling and Student Development Center Search Committee, and the Awards and Professional Development Committee. Ms. Ball also served as the chair for DeKalb County's Networking for Families, which is a group of social service providers who meet monthly to help improve the lives of DeKalb County low-income citizens. Ms. Ball has worked in social services for over 15 years. Her area of specialty is in domestic violence. She has worked for several domestic violence shelters in Illinois, including Harbor House in Kankakee as an adult case manager, Safe Passage in DeKalb as an adult case manager, and Hope of Ogle County in Rochelle as a child case manager. Christy is also a certified domestic violence professional in the state of Illinois. Christy began working with the WIOA program in 2013 when she was hired as a WIOA Adult Career and Training Specialist for First Institute and Training Management. She went on to work for Kishwaukee Community College in 2015 as a WIOA Career Resource Specialist for 4 years. In November of 2019, she moved back to Kankakee and accepted a position as the WIOA Youth Coordinator for Kankakee Community College. In her current role, she is able to provide assistance to youth in the area who are experiencing challenges with completing school and or obtaining or retaining employment. So therefore, without further ado, I would love to welcome hometown and homegrown Christine Ball to the stage for the presentation. I'm gonna take off my mask since we're socially distanced. All right, thank you, Lynn, for that introduction. So as Lynn mentioned, I'm going to be talking to you all tonight about Kankakee Community College's WIOA Youth Program, which is under the Workforce Services Division at the college. So before I get into the actual WIOA services and what we provide, I want to talk about where we're located and some of our basic services that we can provide to the community. So the North Extension Center for KCC is located in Bradley, Illinois at 450 North Kinsey Avenue. We're right across the street from the Wendy's, if you guys are familiar with that. The North Extension Center is a 2-story, 18,353 square foot, LEED Gold certified building. So Kankakee Workforce Services, or WIOA, is located on the first floor of that building. Riverside brings out like the top floor of the building. Some of the main services that we can provide for the community, so you don't have to be an enrolled WIOA client to get these types of services, they're open to the community, include the following. We have a career resource center, complete with a computer lab, where people can access, they can access the center for job search, they can do their resumes. We have students that come in and work on schoolwork there. So we only ask that when you're using the center, you're using it for goal-related purposes. We can also provide assistance with resumes, cover letters, things like that. Also, if you need to print or fax or make copies, you can do that as well. There is a limit to that. But we do have like resume software especially designed to help people to develop those. We also offer workshops at the center, and keeping in mind with COVID, everything has kind of moved virtual. So the workshops that we offer right now are mostly virtual workshops. So the resume, interviewing, and job searching. Then we offer computer literacy courses. Now those are in person because it's a little hard to teach computer literacy in a virtual environment. So we do offer those, but we do follow COVID guidelines and make sure that people are spaced appropriately. In addition, at the center, we also provide WIOA orientations. So if someone is looking to apply for the program, they would attend, during normal times, they would attend at the center, but due to COVID, we've moved to virtual orientations. And then lastly, we offer job fairs and also hiring events on a regular basis. And again, due to COVID, we had to get a little creative. So we have had we've had a drive-up hiring event right out in the parking lot where people could just drive up and get information, drop their resumes off and things like that. One thing I want to note about our center, the Career Center, all of these services are free. So there's no charge for you to use this, and it's open to the community. But again, due to COVID, we do ask that you call to schedule an appointment before you come in, so that way we can make sure that we're following the COVID guidelines. All right, so now I'm gonna go in and talk a little bit about the WIOA program itself. So what is WIOA? WIOA stands for Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act. It's a federal grant. WIOA is a landmark legislation that is designed to strengthen and improve our nation's public workforce system and help Americans, including youth, and those with significant barriers to employment into high-quality jobs and careers, and help employers hire and retain skilled workers. So what's the eligibility? What does the eligibility look like for WIOA? So for WIOA, determining whether you are eligible to participate in the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, or WIOA, youth program, individuals, it involves multiple factors. So it includes age, school status, barriers to employment, etc. So what I like to tell people who are interested in applying for the program, but they're not quite sure, they may have heard that certain things may qualify them for the program. Like for instance, if you're pregnant or parenting, if you're homeless, if you have had contact with the juvenile justice system, if you have a disability, different things like that can help you to qualify, but a lot goes into eligibility, not just one thing. So what we tell people is, if you would like to apply for the program, just apply for it and let us, as the case managers, determine eligibility. Let us assess you and make sure that you're appropriate for the program. So at the end, it says a thorough assessment must be conducted by a career planner to determine eligibility. So how do we do those assessments? All youth program participants must receive an objective assessment of the following. So we're going to look at their academic levels, their basic skills, their occupational skills, any prior work history that they may have had, their employability. We'll look at their interests and aptitudes, areas of strength, and their developmental needs, and then also any service needs that they may have, which can include supportive services, which I'll talk a little bit more in depth about in just a moment. So one of the main assessments that we use when we're determining eligibility is a test. It's called TABE. It stands for Test of Adult and Basic Education. So the TABE test is a diagnostic test, and it's used to determine a person's skill levels and aptitudes. Many companies also use this in hiring and for promotions and for selecting employees for training programs and skilled positions. A couple things about the TABE test. The test results will help the WIOA career planners to evaluate your ability to understand the curriculum for your chosen training program, as well as your ability to pass any required state certification and licensing exams. So say you want to, go to school for nursing, you'll take the TABE test. If you score a little low, that just may show where you may have some gaps, maybe in your education, and things like that. So we can work with you to kind of close up those gaps so you can be successful in your program of choice. Now the TABE test has three parts. It has math, reading, and language. We only test you in math and reading. So those are the two that are required for WIOA participants. And you only take that unless you have a bachelor's degree or higher from an accredited institution. So if you have your bachelor's or higher, you don't need to take the TABE test. The TABE test is a time test, and it's also computer-based, but we do have paper tests, so we can provide accommodations for people. So say if someone has a documented disability and they need an accommodation. So we've had where people need to have someone read the test out loud for them so that they're able to take it. They may just need a paper test. So any of those accommodations can be made as long as we have the documentation. I want to talk a little about our Individual Service Strategy Plan, or ISS is what we call it for short. Upon enrollment, all youth will work together with their career planner to develop an Individual Service Strategy, or ISS. The ISS is a collaboratively built document that details participants' need for training, education, and supportive assistance. It also details goals that they have for their time in the program and their anticipated need throughout based on objectives, assessments completed. So basically, we sit down with them and we look at, okay, what is your goal? Are you wanting to go to school? Are you wanting to get a job? We'll figure those things out. Do you have any barriers that are keeping you from obtaining a job or keeping a job or finishing school? Is there a childcare issue? Is there housing issue? Anything like that, we'll try to work with them throughout the program to help them to be successful. Our ISS should be updated when any changes occur to reflect the dynamic needs of our youth as they meet the dynamic needs of the workforce. Next, I'm going to talk about the different types of services that we provide. So I'll start with the basic, we call that the basic career services. So once a participant is enrolled, they can receive these basic career services, which can include career counseling, career exploration, career awareness, and the use of labor market tools. They can also get help with creating and editing their resume or cover letter. A lot of the youth, when they come to us, they don't have a resume yet, because they maybe probably have never worked before, so we help them get that developed in a cover letter. We also do mock interviewing, so a lot of times they haven't interviewed before, so we will do a mock interview, have them come dressed just like they would if they're going to an interview. We can ask them common interview questions, and then at the end of the mock interview, we just give them feedback. Like, okay, this is what you did well, keep this, maybe let's work on these answers to these particular questions. We also offer financial literacy education, so we can help with creating budgets, learning how to manage spending. We talk about credit, debt education, things like that. I had a client recently
who was doing what we call work experience. So he had been placed in a job, and he got his first check. And that following week, he called me and he said, "Miss Christine, I'm broke." And so I set up an appointment with him to come in, and we sat down and we did a budget. He had never done a budget. He didn't have to worry about doing that. He lived with his parents, so he didn't have to worry about like rent or utilities or anything. But we did talk about, okay, what money do you need to set aside for possibly your cell phone or gas money or things like that. And then we also provide individualized counseling, which includes drug and alcohol abuse counseling, mental health counseling, and if anything is out of our scope, so we can do that basic things, but if anything is out of our scope, we refer out to agencies in the community that can better assist the customer. All right, so another service that we provide is one that people are probably more familiar with, which is our training services. So these services are around going to school, so to get a certificate or a degree. So first, participants can receive up to $10,000 towards an approved training program. What does it mean when I say approved? So in order for WIOA funds to be able to be used, the training program has to be on what we call our approved statewide list, and the institution or training institution must accept our WIOA funds, which usually they don't have a problem accepting that. So I want to click on the link here to the site that shows you our list of training programs. So there's thousands and thousands of programs that are on the approved training list. So this website here for Illinois WorkNet is where we would go to assist students with this is where we would go to kind of show students the approved training programs and kind of help them if they're kind of having trouble picking a major or if they just want to learn more about it. So when I scroll down here to training programs, the training programs, you can see that you can search in different ways. So you can search according to keywords and phrases, the zip code, city, the training institution, things like that. So I'm going to just put here, I'm going to search by keyword. So I'm going to type in a really, can you guys hear me? I'm going to type in a really common program, nursing. So I'll type that in, and then I'm also going to narrow it down a little bit more by the city. So we'll put in Kankakee. Okay, and then, let me take that out there. Okay, so it's not populating for me. So usually what will happen when I put in a keyword is it would show the training programs. Let me try this. Okay, so anyway, you get the idea. So we would search with the student, and it would basically list the programs. The interest profile is what it's called, and so we'd be able to search with them. So if a customer doesn't know what they want to do and they just want to search, we can kind of play around with it, and then if they do know what they want to do, we can kind of go in here and see the cost. So it'll break down like the cost for the total program. So for example, if I did CNA, that's about like a little over $3,000. And then it also breaks down like how much the books would be and all of that, the fees and things like that, so they'll know how much their program will cost. Right. So a couple more things about training. The WIOA grant can cover books, tuition, fees, uniforms, and supplies. You must also complete the FAFSA, so the federal aid, financial aid application online. We have everyone to complete that. Even if they end up not qualifying for it, we just need to have them to complete it. The only time we wouldn't really have them do it is if they're doing a short-term training. So something like CNA or CDL truck driving, if they're taking those by themselves, they usually don't have financial aid available through FAFSA. So then WIOA can come in and just cover that full amount. WIOA can only pay for classes within a major or the electives. And you must be accepted into your program if applicable. So for example, if you're going for something that requires you to be accepted into a college, so College of Nursing, College of Business, you can be on the program, but we need you to be accepted into the college before we can disperse those WIOA funds. WIOA cannot pay for classes twice unless there are exceptions, but you have to do a petition and get it approved. So for example, when COVID hit and we had to go from in-person to online, there were some students that struggled. And so they took a semester off, or they had to maybe drop a class. So in that case, that was like an extenuating circumstance. So we were able to petition and they were able to take that class again. And then lastly, you must submit an academic plan, which is basically just, you sit down with your academic advisor at your institution and they go over your plan, and it just details what you're gonna be taking each semester. And then that helps us as the career planners to follow along as well. So each semester, we can look and see, are you progressing towards your degree or certificate? We also ask for semester grades. So at the end of each semester, we need to see, did you pass your classes? Did you end up dropping anything? Things like that. And then we also ask for your upcoming semester class schedule so that we can make sure we're following along. And then at the end, we do need to get proof of completion of your program. So if you're getting your GED, we need to get proof of that, your high school diploma, if you're getting a bachelor's degree or associate's degree, we need to get proof of that to show. Now I'm going to talk about work experience. So work experience is designed to help you build a work history and develop soft skills in a work environment. This can include summer employment, year-round employment, pre-apprenticeships, internships, job shadowing, and on-the-job training. So a lot of students will, like the high school students especially, will do work experience in the summertime, and then they'll go to school during the year, so they may just do a portion of their work experience in the summer, and then come back that following summer to finish it up. So clients can be placed with local community businesses, agencies, or entities. A lot of our clients will place them through the college. So they can do clerical, they can do maintenance. Also, if they have like a special interest, or if they're in a certain major and they want to, maybe do a work experience in that particular department, we can talk with them to see if that's an option as well. A work experience can last up to 6 months. And you can work up to 29 hours per week, so you don't have to work a full 29 hours a week, but that's the most you can work in a week. And clients are paid at least minimum wage, so here in Illinois, they get paid $11 an hour. They can also pause the work experience if they need to, and then return to complete it. So for example, with the high school students, if they can start, maybe work 2 or 3 months in the summer, and then maybe over the school year, if they're not working, and then that following summer, they can finish up their work experience. I also have a client who had a baby, and so she paused her work experience while she was on maternity leave, and then she was able to come back and finish. And then lastly, you must attend a workshop series prior to beginning your work experience assignment. It's called Workplace Excellence Series, or WES for short. So the Workplace Excellence Series is it's like a workshop for students to learn some soft skills before they start their work experience. And what I mean by soft skills is like time management, so like being on time for work, communicating if you're going to miss work, letting the manager know, teamwork, customer service, a lot of those things that they may not have any experience in. So it kind of gives them a little preview to that. Supportive services. So we also offer supportive services through the WIOA program, and these can include the following. So linkages to community services, assistance with transportation, that can include mileage reimbursement, bus vouchers, car repairs, things like that. I do have a couple of CNA students who commute from like Moments or St. Anne's. They're driving quite a ways to come to campus and back, and then go to clinicals like at a hospital and then go back. So there's a lot of mileage there, so that's a really good thing we have, that we can reimburse them. Or bus vouchers. I know right now the bus is not charging due to COVID, but once we get back to that point, we can do bus vouchers, and those are for a month at a time. We can also provide assistance with child care, dependent care, assistance with housing, possibly rental payments, needs-related payments, assistance with educational testing. So if someone needs to take a test to certify for something, we may be able to help with that. And then also we can provide assistance for uniforms and other appropriate work attire and work-related tools, which can include eyeglasses, protective eye gear. We've helped a student who needed boots to do work. He worked in maintenance, so we were able to help him to get those. Another component of the WIOA program is cash incentives. So these youth incentives are designed to reward youth for their success and to encourage attainment of individual goals. So there's different types of incentives that WIOA youth participants can get and different like monetary limits. So I just listed a few here. So attainment of honor roll or dean's list or even president's list. So if you're on the honor roll, you can get up to $50 per semester for being on the honor roll. You can get attendance type incentives. So that can include like career preparation workshops, college preparation workshops, job shadowing, mentoring, those types of things. Things that are gonna help them either in school or in the workforce. And those are $25 per activity. GED, so with GED, there's several testing modules that you can complete. So we could either do $25 per testing module, and then, or we could do $50 for the total GED completion. $25 we can do for development of a resume. If someone receives their high school diploma, they can receive a $100 incentive, and then $25 for completing the FAFSA. All right, so I'm gonna talk a little bit about after exit. So once someone is exited from the program, we don't just stop in contact with them. We follow up with them for up to a year. So we do have what we call follow-up services. So these are critical services provided following a youth's exit from the program to help ensure that youth is successful in employment and or post-secondary education and training. All youth participants must be offered an opportunity to receive follow-up services that align with their individual service strategy plan that we talked about earlier. Follow-up services must be provided to all participants for a minimum of 12 months, so for a year, unless the participant declines to receive the follow-up services or if they cannot be located or contacted. Participants that are enrolled in follow-up services are also still eligible for those supportive services as long as we have funds available. So if they still need help with gas or childcare, things like that, we can still possibly help them with that as long as we have funds available. So I told you all this stuff about WIOA. So now I want to tell you how to apply. So I have here a link to KCC's main website. So the first step to apply for the program will be to go onto our college's website and fill out our WIOA questionnaire. So I'm going to click on the link here. Hopefully this one works. All right. So we'll go here and then we'll scroll down. So we're gonna scroll down to these three icons at the bottom. So we're the one in the middle, the workforce services. So we're gonna click on that. That's gonna take us to this page under workforce services, and we're going to scroll down again. And then this time we're gonna choose the middle icon for eligibility survey. So we'll click on get started, and then it will show the questionnaire. So it says, please complete this questionnaire so WIOA can offer the most appropriate services for your needs. After submitting the form, you will receive an email with your responses. Also, expect a follow-up phone call within 2 business days. So this is gonna get submitted, and then I will get a notification. If it's a youth, it'll come to me. If it's for an adult, it'll go to one of the adult case managers. And then we can get the process going. So we'll get you enrolled, sign up for orientation, so you can find out more about the program and kind of move on from there. So with the survey, it is a few screens. I wanna say it's about 3 or 4 screens, but it's just basically like your basic demographical information and things like that. And then lastly, I just wanna go over our contact information. So if you have any questions or you need to contact us for something maybe I didn't cover, we are located at 450 North Kinsey and Bradley. Our main phone number is 815-802-8963. You can email us at wiaoffice@kcc.edu, or you can go to KCC's main website, like I just showed you, and you can fill out a questionnaire. And then the very last thing I have is, we do have a Facebook page, so I want to link to that real quick. Okay, so our page is called Kankakee Workforce Services, and this page is really good. I encourage you to follow this for up-to-date listings of job postings. We try to post daily on the site. So as you can see, there was a post about 8 hours ago with some open positions in the area. They've got Bourbonnais, Kankakee, Herscher, Moments. So yeah, so I just encourage you to follow us, and then any information you may update or different things like that, if you want to message us on Facebook, you can feel free to do that as well. So, all right. Thank you so much for letting me present tonight. I really appreciate being able to come.
All right. Thank you, Chrisney. So does anyone have any follow-up questions at this time? I know I would like to ask, is there anything in the assessment that could disqualify a young person? Because I know you talked about things to see if they qualify. Are there some examples of things that could be disqualifying factors?
I'm gonna ask Dana, did you want to take this question? My supervisor is here tonight, so I'm gonna let her take that one.
Thank you, Christy. So there isn't anything that will disqualify you, but what we ask is if you would talk with our career planners, and our career planners would take you through everything that you would need to know about the WIOA program and all of the eligibility requirements.
Thank you, Dana.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions?
How does this program apply to undocumented students?
Oh, sure. So undocumented students, you are more than welcome to apply, and you can be enrolled on the program. That does not disqualify you from being enrolled in the program. Yep.
Also, do you have to live within the county to receive these services?
No.
Or can you, okay.
No, anyone can receive these services. Yep.
And one follow-up question, do you have to attend college, or like, you know, as long as you, I heard you say something about truck driving, but.
Sure. So it's different components. So you can get enrolled in the program and you can attend school, or you can get enrolled and only do a work experience, so you don't have to do school. You could even get in and just do careers, the basic services I talked about. So if you need some like counseling and different things like that, or career type services to help you get a job, we could even do those. So no, you don't have to necessarily be going to school. Also, another thing that I wanted to mention, you don't have to attend KCC. So just because you know we're deployed through KCC, that doesn't mean you have to go there. It's customer's choice where you want to go.
Awesome, thank you. Do we have one more question here?
If I fill out an application and then have a hard time just with things with my family, and I'm not able to go ahead with the program, do I have to refill out the application after a certain amount of time, or how would that work?
Sure. So if it's just the, are you talking about the questionnaire, or the, okay, sure. So for the questionnaire, I guess it depends on the length of time, but we keep those questionnaires. So if you call and say, hey, I had a rough time, you know, I had stuff going on, but I do want to pick back up, we can go in and get your questionnaire out and we can start. Because pretty much that's just like the first step. Now once you go to orientation, you actually fill out the WIOA application, then I believe it's after 30 days of no contact, we just have to have you fill out another application to sign if we have no contact.
Chrisney, you may have mentioned this before, but is there an age limit to apply?
Oh, sure. So for youth, it's 16 to 24, but we also have WIOA adult, and that's 18, and we have no top age. So just as long as you're 18 or older, you can apply for adult.
Well, that seems to have concluded our questions for this evening. I'd like to thank you, Chrisney, for all of the information that you've provided us tonight. Thank you. It was very thorough and informative. and I hope that our community take advantages of these services, especially the young people in the community that are looking for work. I would definitely encourage you to follow the Facebook page. That seems to be a great source of information, and as far as local opportunities for employment. Again, I want to remind you of our upcoming events. We have a virtual expungement fair, March 22nd through the 26th. Please check out the City of Kankakee's webpage for more information, as well as under the Mayor's Initiatives, Kankakee United. We also have the Youth Violence Prevention Week, the week of April 12th through the 16th. Again, we have some Kankakee swag, we have other information that we'd like to get to the community. So if you guys could share, we would love to have more participation. Lastly, I would say follow us on the city's Facebook page for more updates and information. And I want to thank Chris Neval for this presentation tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
And also, I'd like to thank the Director of the WIOA Services, Ms. Dana Washington. Please feel free to reach out for questions or comments on Kankakee United's webpage. If you have any ideas or want to see different presentations, or if you have a presentation that would help us and gear us towards these youth and in prevention of gun violence, we welcome it. So thank you all for joining us tonight, and have a great evening.